circuit, it could be another story.
Repair time underway in the busy Marrakech pit lane. Still very hot, air temperature in the mid-30s, track temperature up to nearly 40 degrees now, and brakes will be a prime concern for all of the teams, flushing out through the coolant system and changing discs and pads, refueling the cars, topping up oil or any other fluids that need doing. Of course, with the extreme of under-bonnet temperature, all the cooling system will be looked at extraordinarily carefully. You can't afford to have any weak links when you're talking 1,200–1,300 degrees under the bonnet. Well, let's get down to the pit lane and catch up with Honda's Thiago Monteiro.
First time racing these new cars, new regulations in racing conditions, Thiago, and racing conditions mean contact. You had a bit of contact with a Chevrolet.
Yeah, there was a bit of pushing around, of course. I mean, it's racing. This is a street track, very narrow. Yeah, Borkovic was quite fast for sure. I don't think he really needed to do that because he would have taken me somewhere else anyway. You know, I'm trying to defending, and then it's just, I don't know if he maybe made a mistake or broke a bit too late, but I mean, he obviously overtook me by pushing me. So this is not what we want. We can have contact, but normally he shouldn't give me the place back. But anyway, we will see. The season is long, and he will have to repay me back.
Sometimes you did very well to save that from going a big accident, but are you surprised the bumper fell off so easily?
Well, the impact was quite strong. I mean, it doesn't look here, but I felt a big push. So it's maybe not that easy because the impact was strong.
I understand that Alex is with Dusan Borkovic, so we can hear from him in a second. Thanks, Thiago.
You can use more mix. Wow. I was in his because he never asked me.
Dusan, first of all, congratulations. What a race. For your first one as well. Awesome stuff. A little bit of altercation between you and Thiago. From your opinion, did you push him? Was it an accident? What happened?
Yeah, I had a little bad start on the beginning, but Thiago passed me. I was a little bit faster than him, and I passed him. In the second lap, I was in front of him, but he was cutting the chicane, and he was always on my line. On his, I had a really tough braking on the last corner. I was trying to go in. He's going to my line, and I accidentally hit him. But first I passed him the one lap before, and he was cutting the chicane. So it's the first race. I'm really happy, and I think that was fair move. It was nothing bad that's the racing. I was trying to pass him. I was really faster, but he was defending his position, maybe not so good.
It's all about the racing. Dusan, best of luck for race 2.
Thank you very much.
Told you he was tall. And Alex isn't 5'2" either.
Alex, what I would love to see
how much is her arm aching now?
What I would love to see is Louise.
Yeah. Oh, my word, yes.
Interviewing him, because, as you say, Alex is not short.
Those of you who have internet access, have a look for a photo with all the drivers taken yesterday with the president of the FIA, Jean Todt, and Dusan Borkovic, who stood right behind Jean Todt, and that gives you a very good idea. He's not on a chair. All the guys in the row behind who are at the same height are on chairs. Gives you a very good idea of just how tall a guy he is. And straightforward, honest, and told his side of the story very well.
The end. Yokohama, your tire.
Gabriele Tarquini, an interested spectator, checking out what's going on at Citroën. His Honda bent in an incident in free practice 2 on Saturday afternoon. Didn't get a chance to qualify, won't race. Too badly damaged. Now, what about Rob Huff? We saw him retiring from race 1. I'm not sure if his Lada is going to be out on the grid. We're going to have to try and catch up with who's where. Mehdi Benani getting his gloves on, the Moroccan ready to join in. But what about Rob Huff? Will he be racing? Here he is.
The race weekend for Lada really much more of a test weekend because the cars really hadn't been tested too much before this season. And Rob, sadly, more problems for your car.
Yeah, I think the new class of 2014 has not started well for us, unfortunately. You know, we've come in with no testing at all, and we're learning a lot about the cars. We're trying to keep it as positive as possible, but the car was going quite well. I got a really good start. Was mixing it with James and Tom Coronel, and unfortunately we got a misfire. So the guys are working hard, changing the turbo. Obviously we're not going to start the race, but hopefully get out and churn some laps at the end just for some data.
And is that also important because the race weekend, next race weekend, is next weekend?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, we're actually taking the car down again this afternoon now. But you know, it's not the way we wish to start. But when you come here with no testing and no miles under your belt, you know, you've got to expect these problems. But you know, everyone's got brand new cars. Everyone's, I think, other than Citroën, are struggling with a few teething problems. It just seems ours are a little bit bigger than everyone else's.
Thanks for your time.
Well, Rob keeping a smiling face because, Matt, you know, if you let these things get to you, then they're always going to get to you. Stuff is going to happen, just like in real life, in motorsport, in every other sport. And so you just got to kind of go with the flow and accept, change things you can change and be able to accept things you can't.
Martin, they're cutting new ground. Let me just show you on this. We pan up on that Honda. Yeah, this aerial, strange-looking aerial. It's actually for transferring data when they're in the pit. You'll see them clip it off. But normally, you know, say in the BTC cars, we'll get 3 engineers all plugging their laptops in. See, it flicks off. Yeah. But that, wirelessly, as soon as the car comes into the pit box area, it downloads all the data via Wi-Fi into the engineers' computers at the back of the garage, and it's a pretty neat thing.
Yeah. If we were really clever, we could probably pick it up on our iPads upstairs, but we're not really clever.
I've already tried looking at the Wi-Fi.
Already got it. Yeah. I'm sure it's very, very well encrypted. If there's one thing you don't want, it's everybody else accessing your data.
Yeah, I'm sure Citroën and Chevy have had a pop at it as well so far.
Well, I'm sure everybody's had a pop at Citroën to see if they can find out what they need to know from there, but that's very unlikely. And whether you could transfer much of what you know about their car to your car, again, that's an entirely different question. So after qualifying, we have our grid set for both races. After qualifying 1 from 13th on down, the positions are the same for race 1 and race 2. After qualifying 2, top 10 are reversed for race 2 grid. 11th and 12th will be 11th and 12th in both races. And then in qualifying 3, the fastest 5 went through, and they set the top 5 positions for the race 1 grid. The 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in race 2. Well, let's hear from Russian Viktor Shapovalov. He is the Lada team principal, and Ben has caught up with him.
Yeah, down with James Thompson's car from the Lada Sport team, and James not here. Viktor Shapovalov, could you tell us exactly the situation with James?
I have a lot of problem with the car this weekend. The brake cooling, with the problem with the turbo, and also a very hard situation with the ventilation today. So maybe this weekend we just keep the car a lot to get this and start to prepare for the next races.
I understand that James is in the medical centre.
Yes, just for checking.
And what is the reason for that?
Because don't feeling so good after this race because very hot and ventilation not perfect in the cockpit. So just for checking, he is in hospital now.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
So he's going to be checked over by the medics. Again, Matt, we talked about this before the start of the race. You know, it is very hot, it's very humid, you're sealed into a box, you're working really, really hard. Inside temperatures will be higher than a sauna, so you've got to keep yourself cool. And the exhaust gas was getting into James's car as well, apparently.
Yokohama, your tire.
Start in 11th place. Well, behind Hugo Vallant will be Mikhail Kozlowski, and then the top TC2 cars, Franz Engsler and Pasquale Di Sabatino. John Philippi, who is so new to the championship, we haven't yet got a headshot of him, will be there. Rob Huff will not start the race, unfortunately. They're hoping to put a new turbo in the car and get him out to do at least some laps. But James Thompson has gone to the medical centre. He's not feeling well after what we gather is some fairly nauseous gases getting into the car. Again, with a brand new car, it might even be as simple as an exhaust or something being too close and burning paint off the floor pan into the car. I mean, those sorts of things happen amongst all the rush to get the cars out on track. You think, well, how can professional teams be making these mistakes? Everybody, no matter how professional they are, makes mistakes under pressure, and they have been under real pressure to design, build, test and put on a racetrack these brand new cars since the end of November last year, when they finished racing the old ones in Macau. So Matt Neal, December, January, February, we're in March, we're in April now, so it's been a 4-month run-up for everybody else. Citroën, of course, have been using the last 12 months to get their car sorted. So the fact that all the cars are here is testimony to how much midnight oil has been burned by all the other teams.
Yeah, there's a lot of sleepless nights gone, but they would have started that development before the end of last season. So, you know, but...
Well, Honda definitely. I mean, Chevrolet couldn't until they knew there were going to be customers for the cars. RML couldn't, rather, because they're not running cars. They haven't got a factory team. They had to know they had customers lined up.
Well, they're actually... Where Citroën have got the jump on everybody is they actually, with the team, were brave, and they went and started designing and building the cars before the regulations were rubber stamped and before they even had the go-ahead off the top brass at Citroën.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got to say fair play to them. They took the gamble and they got the go-ahead, they got the regulations, and it's fitted, the shoe fits, and they're here and with the dominance they've got. So
well, that was a classic Skunk Works thing, wasn't it? You know, we'll design and build a race car on the quiet, and then we'll present it as a fait accompli and a potential winning thing. And when you've got the car sitting there outside the boardroom, it makes it a lot harder for them to say no about releasing the money.
And a 9 times world champion and a 4 times world champion ready to drive it.
There you go. There you go. I mean, it was
an
ticking,
Argentinian superstar.
Ticking all sorts of feel-good boxes. And the Argentine thing, it's a very important growing market, South America, for Citroën. Very important, and especially for this car. This 3-box saloon, the C Elysée, you probably won't have seen on a road yet, but it is for growing markets. I had one as a hire car in Portugal. It's an Eastern European and sort of South America and Asia. We'll be seeing a lot of that car, and that's why for them ticking lots of boxes as well is where we go to China, to Asia, to Eastern Europe, to South America, all very important markets for Citroën's
I think that was
world
a
domination.
little hello from Tom Chilton to his wife Elle back home with the baby. So first time she's not been to a race for a while.
It is. Well, she'll be watching from the sofa, and Tom will have a good opportunity again to put himself in the fray. Starts in front of all 3
Just
Citroëns.
looking back at Chilton's car, you can see the massive vents on the top. You know, if we just pan up onto the side of the bonnet here on the Citroën, massive extraction vents, just trying to, as you mentioned, the heat, under bonnet heat of these things and the turbos. They're just trying to get heat out any way they can, because otherwise that transfers all into the transmission, the engine overheats, but also back through the bulkhead into the driver's cockpit. You know, and we've had in the past, your feet are burning. You're wearing fireproof boots and Nomex and everything, but your feet, it'll burn the paint inside the cockpit, and they're just trying to minimize as much of the can as they possible.
Dusan Borkovic started 5th in race 1, 6th in race 2. So that's not a bad place to end up in qualifying, is it? You know, either just out of that top 5 shootout or just in it, because you pretty much are in the same part of the grid. You don't have a big deficit of starting 10th. Of course, you don't get the big boost of starting either race on pole position, but it means he's pretty much where he was in race 1, and he had a very good encounter with this Marrakech track first time out. Now, Rennie Munich got penalised for a jump start, had 3 other trips through the pit lane. I think the first one was because he came in too early for his jump start penalty. I don't know if you can come in too early. I think there was obviously some other issues that needed dealing with the car. Made a couple of later pit stops. Let's hope that he gets away a little bit better. It's a fairly complex thing to get off the line, a modern world touring car, with all the anti-lag and the settings that you need for launch control and everything else. If you think about your modern high-performance road car and how many buttons you need to push to get rid of all the idiot safety net things that you want for the full-blooded launch, then you can imagine a racing car being just about as tricky. Thiago Monteiro, the remaining Castrol Honda. He was just being given the once-over by cars designer Andrea Adamo. Stuart McCrudden down there in the white shirt, who's responsible for looking after an awful lot of the front-of-house stuff for Castrol Honda.
Previously in Formula One, where they used to have temperature issues in the really hot races and everything, you used to see them packing the radiators with dry ice. And I'm surprised, you know, because it gets so hot here, unless it's actually banned in the regulations, that some of the teams aren't onto it, just to try and keep the charge temperature for the turbos and the engine temperature to a minimum before you get out there and get in traffic.
You might almost think that it's time for teams to investigate proper cool suits as well, like they have in endurance racing. But again, I mean, they're very common in North America, where temperatures are usually a little higher ambient than the UK, for instance. So you see Mehdi Benani and Tom Coronel on the front row of the grid, getting ready to go. Grid being cleared. We have lost a number of cars. No Gabriele Tarquini, of course, from the start. No Peter Foulin. We've got no Rob Huff. We've got no Norbert Mikulits, we've got no James Thompson, so there are gaps all the way down our grid, including on the second row. Me with that. Yellow flags and yellow lights waving. Start has been delayed.
Maybe they've lost the green flag.
And that means, I think, that somebody is out of position, or there is an issue somewhere out on the circuit that we're not aware of. Mirek there with the headset on. MST. MST are coming up with a confirmed grid. Who should and shouldn't be where? That was my suggestion. Often, and even in club racing, when somebody walks onto the grid with a piece of paper, it means that somebody's not in the right position. So did anybody break Parc Fermé?
Well, the Citroens are all in the right place.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Let's go.
No, I'm just looking back. That's about as far as I can see back there.
I'm
Tomo's
sensing
missing.
it is further back. Well, from 11th on down, everybody should be in position. James Thompson,
yeah,
then Hugo Vallant. Then behind, it's Kozlowski's on the wrong side of the grid. He should be behind Vallant. No, he is behind Vallant. And behind him should be, well, Foulin. There should be a gap because Foulin's not starting.
Engstler's on the wrong side, I think. No, he isn't. He's on the right side. No?
Engstler should be behind the gap where Huff and Thompson aren't. Engstler is. Oh, Kozlowski, they're moving up. Now, are they moving up because one of the Ladas has been officially withdrawn? Because Kozlowski should start on driver's left, not on driver's right, because he qualified 14th.
So Kozlowski was actually in the right position.
Kozlowski was in the right position and is now in the wrong position. He qualified 14th. He should start 14th, unless for some reason Thompson and Huff not starting has altered the results of qualifying or altered the grid. But the grid...
So they haven't moved him up any places, they've just moved him across.
Yeah, so he has moved one row forward, and now they're going to zigzag everybody else across.
This does seem like an awful lot of work for very little gain.
Yeah. So it's either Huff was officially retired or Thompson was officially retired. Maybe Huff's not officially retired, maybe only Tomo's officially retired. But in which case, Hugo Vallant should be moved up from 12th to 11th to take his place. And they haven't started that far up the grid, they've started further back. Because Vallant is behind Lopez, who is 10th.
All they've done is...
Vallant is 12th, so Vallant's on the right side. But Thompson, there'll be a gap where Thompson isn't.
Well, someone's found a rule.
Well, there's a lot more sweaty mechanics, marshals rather, than there were 5 minutes ago.
Muller's obviously feeling the heat a bit.
Yeah.
Just trying to get a bit more cool air in there. Funny, it looks as though he's gone for a suede leather sort of covering of the top of his gear stick there. They all have that's quite a personal thing for the drivers, and the size of the hand, they want it to fit well and they want it to be comfortable and fit with their glove, and I haven't seen that before.
And the big handbrake lever behind. Look at the gear lever here. What's the little bicycle brake for?
That's to engage neutral when you, because it's a 6-speed sequential when you get back to first. So you'll engage neutral, or when you go for reverse, you need the small levers too.
And the big handbrake lever, where did we first see those? In rally cars, of course.
Joking apart, when Renault first made their first BTC Super Touring car, it was the French rally team that did the prototype, and when it came across the UK, it had a handbrake in it, because that's the test driver was a rally driver, and he wanted a handbrake.
Well, you know, ideal on a sloping grid, and there are a few.
Be all right at the hairpin at Macab, wouldn't it? Low will be in his element. It'll be on the rear wheels as well, so.
Switch it in sideways.
Not so good on the tyre wear. Now they'll figure out that they've moved them into the wrong places and start moving them all back again. You watch.
So the only published change to the grid would be that Huff's space would be closed up as he requested parc fermé neutralisation, says Neil Hudson of Touring Car Times, and that would seem to be what's happened. Graham Chilton there. So Tom's mum and dad at the races. So where's he going to be next weekend? Because we're racing, but it's a Formula 1 weekend as well again, isn't it?
Good question.
A couple of those changes. I think he might go to Manicourt.
They'll probably do qualifying one. Get a whirly bird.
He'll be watching the telly like the telly like the rest of us. Two boys in 2 FIA championships, and the FIA has managed to make almost all their races clash with each other. Thanks very much, Ben Miles on Twitter, saying, I'm sure in some way this will be Martin's Haven fault. Most things are. Most things are. So here we go, green flag. We are on the final formation lap then for round 2 of 24 of the FIA World Touring Car Championship. Good view of there of our world champion Ivan Muller in his Citroën C-Elysée. He's not our championship leader though, he's 3rd in points, and he's got just over half the points of Jose Maria Lopez, our leader. Not necessarily a sentence I was expecting to say after the first race of the championship.
Well, you never know, Martin, do you? You never know how it's going to unfold. It's going to be interesting. The interesting thing here is overtaking on this circuit. Bernani, when he got a sniff at a lead position last time, he held on really well. So it's going to be hard for the Citroëns to fight their way through.
Well, he's on pole. Let's hear from Tom Coronel.
Welcome everybody for the second race here of the WTCC in Marrakech. It's always a special one because it's the first race of the season. This is the second one, as you probably have seen the first race. Special circuit, street circuit, not easy to overtake. If you make a mistake, you are in trouble. A lot of people had some braking issues, and they were heating up too hard. It all has to do with the chicanes. First corner, it's a high-speed chicane. Second corner, then after a long straight, hairpin, or well, let's say a hairpin is a small chicane, very tiny, second gear, long left-hander, then a chicane again. Going on to this straight, at the moment I'm heating up the tires and the brakes at the same time, and checking everything is right. Then you arrive at the first chicane, which is in second gear, braking at about 150 meter, and then you arrive at the second chicane, which is high speed, which is third gear. That one I had a soft touch with the wall in the free practice, so I'm not confident, but I have to go now because I have a race to win.
I'm amazed how he can just chat away. You've got a lot of, and he's saying he's just warming up the tyres and the brakes there. There's a lot more things to think about. You've got to make sure the clutch is warm enough for your start, the turbo's the right temperature, the engine's running at the right temperature, so fast or slow. Watch where the traffic is behind you. He's chatting away like he's sat on the sofa in the Sunday afternoon. I don't know how he's thinking of all those together.
Well, and people might want to know, okay, if there's a problem with the brakes overheating, why is he warming the brakes up?
Because they won't work come turn 1 if you don't get them hot enough.
Exactly right. They have to be at a pretty high temperature, around 700-800 degrees, before they'll actually stop the car. However, if they get too hot, then they won't stop the car either.
That's where Martin, I mean, they've got a lot of, the pad material that these guys can use is free. So they'll have a lot different derivatives of softer through medium to hard. And They all started on the soft pad this weekend, and they've all ended up on the hardest one possible now. So doesn't stop the car so well, but it hopefully tries to last a bit longer, but it's still becoming an issue for him.
So cars coming to the grid for race 2 here as the shadows lengthen. It is 25-6 here in Morocco. Large intake of breath for everybody as the cars are on the grid for race 2 here in Marrakech. Tom Coronel on pole position from Mehdi Benani. There is not a single Moroccan backside in a seat. They want to see their local hero start well. Good start from them. Good start from Thiago Montero. He's alone on row 2 of the grid with no Norbert Michels, and Muller nearly puts Loeb in the wall. Jose Maria Lopez, race 1 win, a very slow start. Coronel's out, and Benani has got frontal damage, and Benani is not going to last, and Muller's out. He's not going to be able to finish the race. Loeb has got through the carnage, but this is a red flag. Aldo Prio in the background. In the foreground is Roberto Ravaglia, the bosses of Royal Motorsport, and what a disaster. Coronel perhaps getting tagged across the nose of the Honda. Muller, major damage. I can't see how we're going to get away without a safety car. There's far too much debris on the track. And Tom Coronel, the door is open. Is he out of the car? He is getting out of the car. That is heartbreaking for him. And for Yvan Muller, that is tough as well, because he will have no chance, I think, of completing race 2.
You think?
Well, now, it's stopped on the first lap. Does that mean a complete new start? And if it does, how long have they got to fix Muller's car? Don't forget, we've seen cars fixed on the grid before. Well, there's Pauline Svart, Tom's girlfriend. She's very pleased to see him out, but almost in tears. Matt, talk us through it. Coronel on the left of our screen.
Yeah, Benani makes a good start. Coronel tries to cut him off. He just tries to keep closing the door. He can feel Benani's there, but keeps trying to come across on him. Unfortunately, I think Coronel fell on his own sword on that one. You can't close the door when someone's there.
Oh, that was Muller's camera. How that survived, I couldn't possibly explain. From behind with Lopez. Oh, no, that's Loeb's camera. He ran into a debris shower, didn't he? And I mean, that is heartbreaking. You know, one of the bonuses of the top 10 qualifying reversal is you get new guys on pole. Tom doesn't turn left. He doesn't try and move left. He's just there. But Benani's trying to get away from the wall. And it's 2 cars pushing, and one with a tiny overlap is always going to get turned around the nose of the other.
That is one wrecked Chevrolet. He's going to be lucky to make Paul Ricard with that next week.
And there's the other thing. You are absolutely right. He's going to be very lucky to have a car in Paul Ricard, which is 7 days from now, the race. Never mind free practice and the test session on Friday, because it's a brand new circuit for the championship. And Muller, Citroën surely must have a spare car, but he's not going to take part in this race, is he?
Race suspended.
Yeah.
Race suspended.
Well, the red flag out means the race has been suspended, which means the cars will form up in the order in which they are on the grid. Mehdi Benani, with not much remaining on his Citroën, he's got no chance of maintaining front running speed. Matt, he'll have no front downforce. The cooling will be ruined because there's nothing to duct the air properly through all the cooling ducts to the radiators and the brakes. It'll be a liability. His front wheels will be locking up mercilessly because there's no aero, and it'll be as fast in a straight line. But this place is all chicanes. He won't be able to stop.
And actually, he's got no chance, Martin. No. I mean, he's going to lose downforce. He's going to be like a parachute, catching hold of everything in a straight line. His brakes are going to overheat. His engine's got a chance. Here we go again.
All right. Well, watch Thiago Montero as well, because he makes contact with the back of Benani.
Coronel moves over to cut him off.
Yeah. From Benani's view, here comes Coronel, and there's a little bit of a touch here, and Tom knows there's contact. He is moving fractionally left to his left as Benani's moving fractionally to his right.
As soon as you feel someone there, you've got to give him space.
Away. You've got to move away, and Tom is still coming. You're right. From this, it is much more that Tom is still coming, and Montero ran into the back of Bernani. The good news for Bernani, which won't apply to Muller, is that they can fit a new front onto his car on the grid.
If the race is suspended, they could get a new front end Bernani's car, and he'll have the lead.
Think of Monaco, well, 2 or 3 years ago, was it, where they put new wings and everything? Yeah, Muller, what a
Sebastian Loeb made a cracking start, and Muller saw him coming and managed to cut him off.
Yeah.
Now the difference was there, Muller got across in time.
Yeah.
And managed to cut him off.
Yeah.
But as soon as your foot's in the door, you can't do it.
So cars will form up on the grid. You can see the tyres, the trolleys getting ready to go out to greet the survivors. It's going to be fascinating to see what, if anything, can be done for Ivan Muller.
No, Muller's out of it.
You've got to think. I mean, the boot lid was stuck up. I don't know who ran into the back of him either. Somebody hit him very hard from behind. Well, Ben and Alex are down there. So we will try and have words with Tom Coronel, who, of course, has not come to the grid. He's walked back into the pit lane. And Mirek there in the white shirt, our race director, and Bruno in the safety car, slowing everybody down. Everybody should know the routine now. The leader should go onto pole position, front and left, or front and right as the driver sees it. There you go. Montero will start second. Loeb third. René Munich survived the carnage in fourth. Hugo Vallant in fifth. Dusan Borkovic in sixth. Jose Maria Lopez in seventh. But tellingly, no sign of Ivan Muller. And Matt, we can't see down into the pit lane.
No, Martin, he was out the car. I think they were worried that there was a fire under the bonnet.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this last night, didn't we? Because when Gabriele Tarquini got shunted into the tyres, he couldn't get out of the car and it was smoking. Well, Alex, as you can see, is with Tom Coronel.
Yep, so down on the pit lane here with Tom. Not what you wanted.
It's the worst I think can happen, especially because it was quite reasonable. Everything felt fine. There was a soft touch also of Mehdi, but then he just kept pushing. He just kept pushing all the time. So probably a little bit hot here for his weekend here with the Moroccan people. But yeah.
It looked like there was just a very, very small overlap.
Yeah, it was one soft touch, but then he kept pushing. It was one soft one, but then he did not avoid an accident, you know. So yeah, that was it. This is not good because next week is the next race, and that doesn't seem really well. It's the worst what can happen.
And there'll be no possibility for you to race next week?
I don't give any comment on that. I mean, we have a strong team, we have good people, but doesn't seem really nice for myself. No, it seems really bad.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Alex, for getting down there. He at least is okay. As you probably heard in the background, lots of Mehdi cheering as the nose came out for Bernani's car. Tom will be absolutely convinced, Matt Neal, that he was going absolutely straight as an arrow and Bernani pushed him. There'll be no doubt in his mind he was absolutely going straight, but we can see from in front there was convergence. He was definitely moving to the left, and we'll hear from Mehdi Bernani as well. Ben Constangiris is down with him on the grid.
Yeah, Mehdi Bernani, Tom Coronel saying that it's a bit too hot on the grid here, that you just kept pushing him. What is your story from your situation?
I go in my straight line. I go straight away. And he comes to me. The first time when I see him coming, I tell, no, Tom, because he's my friend also. We have to be fair between us. And he comes to me the first time, I said, okay, so he give me little space between the wall and the street. I try to keep it, because if I release the throttle, everybody will push me or push me out. So you give me the little space. I stay in my little space, Tom. And I tell, no, I do like this.
It felt to me like you keep pushing. That's how it felt to me.
Never. You can see it. And Tom, you are my friend. I never do it.
I know.
I was crying because it's you.
Big misunderstanding.
I was like this and I release. Push. What I do?
Hij zei dat het sorry was. Hij zegt ik kon er niks aan doen.
Matt Neal,
ik zat er helemaal naast.
this is what Citroen are not understanding yet. that all sport is about people. It's not about the javelin, it's not about the running shoes, it's not about the swimming trunks, it's not about the cars, it's about humans. Tom, again, is convinced he's not moving over. He's moving over.
Unfortunately, I want to see it from Tom's side. And there's always going to be two sides to an argument, but we actually saw Mehdi move slightly to the left to try and avoid Tom.
He was literally between a rock and a hard place. He was between a concrete wall and a car that's coming up. And like you said, you know, they have got on very well historically. I mean, I wouldn't be at all surprised to learn that Tom has been really helping Mehdi when he was struggling with the BMW, because he's that sort of a guy, and he would. And they get on really well, like everybody does in the paddock.
Well, Coronel gets on with everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you heard it, you know, even then, you know, that's it. You know, any enmity has already dissolved. And, you know, that's what it's all about. And that's what, if Citroën retain their closed shop mentality, they're going to completely miss out on that. And they're going to miss, you know, adding any humanity to the championship.
Yeah, see, Bernani's moving over. He's moving over, and then...
Yeah. You know, I mean, that was a great little piece of human interaction. He said, "I'm crying. No, 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 don't keep coming, because it's you." Fantastic. I mean, just what sport's all about.
Oh, but Mehdi Bernani's a lovely, but he's not going to do anything malicious.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. And in fact, look at that. The bit of, I thought it was damaged if arm on a boot lid. It's not. It's a bit of Coronel's car that's caught on the rear wing.
Oh. They got a lot of debris to clear up down there. They're making a good job of it, though.
Yeah. Well, you know, they're going to have time, aren't they? We're going to go at 5-2, which is 8 minutes from now.
I tell you what, never mind going back to Raoul in Italy. That might need to go back to the UK, to RML. That is one wrecked car.
That is a job for the skip. And do you know what? When he sits down, when the guys that are filming with him show him the video, he is going to know that it was both of them moving. You know, they were both moving left. He wasn't moving left much.
About 3-4 seconds.
Problem is, Martin, you sat the $500,000. These cars are in excess of £500,000 each. Brand spanking new.
Yep.
This
no,
weekend.
absolutely.
And
I mean,
suddenly, that uninsured, because you run with no insurance.
It's heartbreaking. You know, they're such a nice team. He's such a nice guy, and you know, nobody wishes that on anybody, especially at the beginning of the season, especially with such a hurry up that we've got, you know, 4 race weekends in 5 weeks.
And I think he's probably, you factor crash damage into your budgets, you have to amount, but I think he's just done about 2 seasons worth.
Well, he slapped the wall in free practice 1, didn't he, and did all 4 corners, splitters, bumpers, uprights, everything, and that is a tough break for Coronel. Well, Ben is with him now. Let's hear again.
Tom, you've spoken to Mehdi now. You could see the hurt in his face. We've got a chance to see the onboard from both your car and Mehdi's car. Talk us through it.
Well, to me, it was a feeling like there was a soft touch. And then I thought, no problem, this is it. And then it seemed like he keep on pushing, you know. Then there was a soft touch. I thought, okay, no problem. But he kept pushing, keep pushing. And then he just turned to the right. And that's why I went to the left. So, yeah, that was my feeling. I mean, he's a friend of mine. So of course, I knew also this was no problem. But look, he's pushing the other way. He's not avoiding an accident. Yeah, and then my car was completely destroyed. I mean, I don't remember I've crashed a car like this. Last time, I think, was 2001 when I rolled the car. 1 touch, no problem, but keep touching, keep. And then even he turned to the right, as you see, and that was it.
These cars have new regulations for this year, new aerodynamics. Is there any chance at all that maybe your 2 cars were actually locked together and he couldn't release?
Yeah, but then you don't turn to the right. But, you know, this is it. It happened. I think he's a little bit hot. It's his home race. It's a good friend of mine. So, you know, this is done. For me, it happened already. Let's make a good race. And maybe he can make it positive for himself.
Hopefully see you next weekend.
Yep, I don't think so.
Well, that's going to be really tough for the team if that is the case, if there is no Raoul Motorsport car for Tom Coronel.
Again, Martin, I'd have to disagree with Tom. He's going, Bernani's turning right. But as soon as a car comes across the left, you know, comes across the front of you, you have to turn away from it.
C'est pas faute à toi. Tu étais dedans. Comme tu fais, tu as le mur à gauche. Où tu vas? C'est pas faute à toi. J'ai regardé les images 4 fois. C'est pas faute à toi.
This is Gabriele Tarquini.
Yeah.
If you don't recognise the accent, that's Gabriele's French. And he is saying, it's not your fault. I've watched the pictures. Tom came across. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It wasn't you.
Get
I've
on and
watched
win the
video.
race.
Just take it out of your mind. You didn't punt him off. And that's what Gabriele is saying. You didn't take him out of the race. And actually, the last bit of the shot where Bennani comes right hard, that's because the pressure of Coronel coming left has been released and his car...
No, Martin, it will be. As soon as a car comes across the front of you, you turn away from the accident, otherwise you'll be in the wall as well.
Absolutely right.
The FIA WTCC is delivered by DHL.
The onboard view of Mehdi Bennani ready to restart this second race in Marrakech from pole position. Tyre trolleys and mechanics clearing the grid. We're in the final 3 minutes. Lights on the safety car because the race is only suspended, not stopped and restarted. And that means, Matt, they'll go round in formation and then they will be released from behind the safety car to restart. And that means Mehdi Bennani will control the pace. They'll be in line astern, so there's no chance for Sebastian Loeb to use his great starting knowledge to be able to out-drag the front row starters. Again, can't imagine there's many rally stages where he's made a rolling start. So this is going to be a first for him because nobody expected rolling starts. They've been written out of the script for this year, so I'm sure they went to practice.
I think we're running out of cars to do more standing starts, aren't we?
Well, let's hear from Gabriele Tarquini. We heard him talking to Mehdi Bennani. Let's see what he's got to say.
Emotions running high down here in the pit lane, and that's not exactly what you want as a racing driver going into a race start. Gabriele, you went and had a word with Mehdi. Your experience clearly helping him.
Yeah, because he is very shocked by the accident. I suggest to think about the start because it's very hard. It's a very difficult race, and forgot the accident. Later on, he will be with the steward speaking with the accident, but he must forgot the accident now.
And how are you? Obviously, a big accident for you yesterday. You felt a little bit of pain. Are you feeling better today?
Yeah, I mean, the car was strong enough to support me inside the cockpit. I don't have any big pain, just a small pain on the neck, but the car resists very good to the strong impact, 23 or 24 G I received from the accident, and now we are concentrating to the next race. It's not easy for me because I never walk on the grid to see my opponents starting the race. It's a very strange situation.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well, life in the old fella yet. He did actually tell us, though, that when he was hit by Morbidelli, it jammed both driver's side doors. The passenger side doors were hard up against the tyres. There was smoke pouring out from under the bonnet. You know, we talked about 1300-degree temperature of the turbos. All it needs is for something to be pushed onto that, and immediately it's starting to catch fire. He had to crawl through the roll cage into the back of the car and get one of the marshals to open the tailgate so he could get out of the car. He said, if I was in a Citroen and all the doors were jammed, there is no tailgate. How are you going to get out of the car?
Yeah, very true.
And this is something he's going to flag up with the organisers, because what you should now suggest is, like if you go on a long-distance coach, by the windows is one of those little metal hammers that you can break the glass with to get out in the event that none of the doors will open.
So
maybe they, in all seriousness, maybe they need to, because the plastic windows are Lexan, they're bulletproof. You're not going to break the side windows. The only window you could break would be the windscreen, which is laminated glass.
No, it isn't laminated glass.
It's not, so that's Lexan as well.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Because I was going to say, your little hammer, you'd be there. be there for a week of Sundays,
well,
and you still wouldn't get out.
In that case, £5 club hammers for all marshals at racetracks. Goodness me, we are talking ourselves into a corner.
And as you say, they're shatterproof.
Yeah.
For that reason, for accidents.
Exactly. Wow. I mean, if the thing had caught light, he would have been really, really in a hurry to get out. However, it wasn't, it didn't, it hasn't. We are getting ready to go again, and my intuition tells me that we will release from behind the safety car, possibly not on this lap, as the marshals were sweeping up something on the track and are, well, they're now making their way back into the pit wall, but none of the drivers know that there is quick dry down on the grid. If I was the race director, I would want them to go by and see it, so that when they're fanning out across the line, it doesn't come as a big shock to them. However, we'll wait and see what happens. Lights are still on the safety car. Quick dry down at the chicane. First chicane on the back straight.
I think he needs to turn the lights off.
He hasn't turned the lights off.
2/3 of the way around.
Out of timing sector 2. Now
yeah.
I think now the lights have gone off. Okay, so we should be ready to go. See if I can see on the start tower. Well, no green flag being held by a marshal yet. Mehdi Banani will lead them line astern. Safety car has not pulled into the pit lane. Lights are still on, so they're doing exactly what I thought Mirek would do, which is tell the teams on their on their interconnection system, tell your drivers about the oil down on the track. Drive them past it, let them see where it is, what kind of a challenge it's going to present to them. Then we should see them released at the end of this lap. Now, the 14-lap race distance has been extended to 16. We can do that, make up 2 racing laps for safety car laps. It's like extending a stage or doubling a stage length if one gets cancelled in rallying. They don't have the ability to do that. We have the ability here. But our race director, Matt, is doing a very sensible thing, making sure that everybody is very familiar with what hazards are out there that weren't out there when they started.
With the 2 extra laps, and we've had extra warm-up laps, fuel and the amount of fuel you carry is a very, very critical thing. It's measured in not volume, but weight for that reason, because it makes such a difference to the car. And you'll make a calculation for every circuit you go to and every weather condition. It all has a bearing on the amount of fuel you're using, and you'll take it to a minimum. And someone like Citra might be right on the edge of where they're going to be on fuel. So with all these extra green flag laps and now extra race laps, we could have a situation where they're going to be very, very marginal on fuel, even maybe getting a bit of surge at the end, if not running out in the last lap or so.
That'd be fun. Safety car leading the field down. Safety car boards and yellow flags are still out. Again, not something Sebastian Loeb will have experienced very many times. Of course, though, this is not his first ever race weekend. He raced last year in Porsche Super Cup and French GT. He's raced at Le Mans. He has raced cars before, so it's not like he's never done it. Not like Mehdi Banani sitting on a World Rally stage start for the first time, that's for sure. So here we go. Safety car will pull off. The lights have gone out, and we are getting ready to get this race back underway. Lots of marshals thinking they'd like a £5 club hammer, by the way. Ready to restart now as Mehdi Banani leads the field. Green flags. And Mehdi Banani, with the front end of his car replaced, we'll have to wait and see how that works. Here comes Sebastian Loeb. Through the carnage, he came to third at the restart, already by Thiago Monteiro. One corner in and he's back up to second place, where he finished in race 1. Oh, and in the background, that is René Munich, who's gone off. Contact, left front puncture, left front damage perhaps of some kind, and the bumper's come off the back of Banani's car. Loeb managed to swerve around it.
That's one of his James Bond tricks, wasn't it?
There's his instincts, yeah, okay.
Oil is the next trick.
Now it's the tin tacks and the bulletproof windscreen and the oil pouring out the back. Oh, and Banani squirming under braking. And it's an old Is it trying to understand the message from Ben, is it an old style front bumper he's got? It doesn't look like it's got the massive drinks tray on the front that is the new splitter. Ah, he's got a Castrol Honda one. That's what I wasn't understanding. Okay, so, all right, well, it blends in very nicely since his car is red, white and green anyway. But yes, it is identical to Thiago Montero's, so it is a one that fits the car. But look at this, Sebastian Loeb, first lap away from the restart, challenging for the lead.
The speed of that Citroen in a straight line, and it's not because he's in a slipstream, is just monstrous.
The thing picks up off the corners so well, is what the others are saying. And Citroen have clearly really got traction sorted. This is all about traction out of the chicanes.
Banani's hanging on. He's going to have an awful long race on his hands here.
Well, he's led under pressure. Remember in Russia, he held off Ivan Muller for lap after lap. But he has had a lot of pressure to deal with. Drive-through penalty for car 25, Mehdi Banani, causing a collision.
What?
Well, clearly somebody has had a word. But they can't have heard his evidence.
They've just got a great race on their hands.
Well, you can already hear the catcalls and the boos from the crowd. Well, that's how to win friends and influence people. Can we head to the airport now? He's certainly going in mufti anyway. Sebastian Loeb pulls out to the slipstream, passes Mehdi Banani for the lead of the race. All immaterial. He was the de facto leader anyway. Banani handed a drive-through penalty. It says for causing a collision. Well.
So is that to the first start or it must be?
Well, can't be for the second start because he was in front. So that is the incident with Tom Coronel. They have come to the conclusion it was Banani's fault.
Why don't they look at that after the race? Here comes Lopez.
Jose Maria Lopez and Hugo Valente goes by Thiago Montero. They both jump the chicane. Valente gives the place back. Wise boy. Battle for third. Montero still in third spot. Hugo Valente in fourth. Jose Maria Lopez in fifth place from seventh on the grid, don't forget. So he is seared by Dusan Borkovic, and Tom Chilton's also got by the Serbian driver. Oh, no damage done to either car. Little adjustment of the shades. There is Chilton, the black car, and Borkovic, the red, white and blue of Serbia behind him in the background. Reni Munika's in. Mehdi Banani comes through for his drive-through. Home races are never good omens for drivers. They just aren't. Ask Tom Coronel about the only race we ever had in the Netherlands. Mehdi Banani, apart from his first ever appearance here, has had nothing but misfortune. And I do find it hard that he's been penalised with a drive-through here. Sure, he was involved, but... Oh, Lopez is coming, Valente is coming. Lopez is going to try and thread his way through here. Montero holds on. Valente, the door was open for Lopez on the inside. The Argentine goes through.
You see Montero was on the dirty side of the track there. The dirt spitting up off his front tyres there. He's going to have to clean those up.
Yeah, he's got no chance of cleaning them at the moment. Lopez is breathing his exhaust fumes in and is pulling out of the slipstream. Thiago is on the dirty side. He's defending on the inside, but effectively that gives Lopez the clean line as he just accelerates right by.
He's pulled 3 car lengths in one straight.
Well, they've got great traction off the corners. We heard that Thiago's car was spinning its wheels out of the hairpin in qualifying.
No, Martin, that's just pure grunt.
There you go.
That is just unbelievable.
Well, Jose Maria Lopez now into second place. It is a Citroen 1-2.
Come on.
Lap 7 of 16. We got half the race to go.
Okay, now, what's going to happen when Lopez catches up to Loeb then?
Montero cuts right back in behind. Lopez just carries on by. Now, it's a real shame that we've got radios in modern motorsport, because in the old days, you'd see the Ferrari mechanics holding out a board that said slow or fuel or something, which would be the Fernando is quicker than you, do you understand message. That's Borkovic. The car is ground to a complete halt, and he is bailing out.
I didn't see what happened to him.
No, nor did I. Valente is having another go at Montero. This is for a podium finish for Hugo Valente. Oh, and he's just driven straight by as well. The Honda is struggling in a straight line.
The Honda is, well, whether he's got a bit of aero on the front, but I mean, it's just woefully slow in a straight line in the morning, at the moment. Chilton will be next to line him up.
And Chilton is closing hand over fist, isn't he? There's Dusan Borkovic. Well, what a shame for him that the car is packed up on him. At least it's not too long of a hot walk back, but I'm sure he'd rather have had a hot drive back. Safety car is out, and that's not a surprise. That is going to give us an 8-lap battle for victory between Citroën teammates. Oh, Montero is running out of brakes. It's where Tarquini outbraked himself in FP1. He's not got straight line speed, and he still can't get it slowed down. Borkovic's car is smoking. Huff's has got a new turbo.
Huffy smells a podium. he's back out.
Oh, I'm waiting for that to pop up as a Twitter comment. Safety car is out. And Huff will be the first man to be picked up. Is he going to get the wave by? No, he's not. There's Tom and Pauline. So Dusan Borkovic's car has stopped on the straight. And that's a real shame as well for the Campos
Martin,
Racing
that could
driver.
be brake-related, where the smoke's coming from. That could have been brake-related.
But if it was brake-related, he'd have driven it to a place of safety, not stopped halfway down the pit wall.
Potentially.
All right, you know you're not going to be able to slow from speed, but you'll creep along and just pull into the pit lane exit or something.
We could actually have a pretty good scrap for the final podium place here. Well, one.
You pop down and have a word with Yves Maton about humanity and what it brings to the championship while I commentate, and let's see if that works.
I'll go and hold out some of the Citroën pit boards. How about that? I'll make one for the next round.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, there is Borkovic. I was just trying to hear what he was saying to Tom. His English is great. I tell you, his English is very, very good, and I don't even know if I could say hello in Serbian. I'm sure I couldn't.
Yeah, there's no gap in the wall close to where Borkovic has stopped. So there we go.
Yeah, they've made it, haven't they? That's where the trolleys go on and off from the grid. So actually, he's possibly stopped in about as good a place as he can, because if he was in the pit lane exit,
I thought he'd missed it.
More of a drag back. Well, let's get down and hear from Dusan Borkovic, find out exactly what happened to the Chevy.
I'm here with Dusan Borkovic. Dusan, what has happened?
I don't know. I had a fire, the big smoke in my car. I didn't have any alarm, nothing. It was only the temperature of the water was 85 degrees, so everything was perfect. On the last corner, it was all smoke, so I stopped because I didn't want to fire the car.
Bad luck, Dusan.
Yeah, I will have the more luck next race. We have 11 more races. I showed the potential for the first event, so I hope maybe even better results for the next season, for the next races.
Always smiling. We love you.
I love you.
Hey, all right. Steady on now. Steady on. Your girlfriend's watching. So safety car is about to come in, which will give us 8 laps. A head-to-head between Sebastian Loeb and Jose Maria Lopez, our championship leader. So Loeb will pace them to the field. Set behind the safety car, you're not supposed to do more than 80 kilometers an hour. Anyway, he's off, and Lopez is going with him, but Loeb has already got a big jump. The race is underway, green flags. Sebastian Loeb leads across the line. Jose Maria Lopez in second. Hugo Valente with Thiago Montero behind, and Tom Chilton in 5th position. And Loeb really ran away at the start. Now, normally you try and back up the field. He, however, decided that going faster would be a better idea, and I'm not sure I entirely disagree with him. And by the way, Mehdi Benani, after the drive-through, 8th place at the moment, so in the points.
Yeah, I don't think Loeb's concerned about the rest of the field. The guy he's concerned about is sat there right behind him, so it was, if he could make a break, catch an extra yard on Lopez, because he's going to need everyone he can get.
And Huffy obviously did get the wave by or pull back into the pit lane. I think it's pulled back into the pit lane, actually, because he wasn't at the front of the safety car queue, which would have made life very interesting. He should have stayed there just for devilment. Loeb leads. It was 1.5 seconds at the line ahead of Jose Maria Lopez. Third, Hugo Vallant in his Chevrolet. Fourth, Thiago Monteiro. And here is Bernani now, trying to claw some way back. Bernani versus Morbidelli with Kozlowski in front. Kozlowski, 6th place for Lada. And if he can maintain that, that will be his best race result, I think, in World Touring Cars. I'd need to check, but I'm not sure I'd need to check very long.
Lopez half a second quicker than Loeb on that last lap.
Wow. So Lopez sees double race winning weekend writ large in his future. Tom Chilton, he's got the speed to get by Monteiro for 4th.
Montero's managed to cool his brakes off a bit behind the safety car, but it's going to start frying them again. Bernani's on the move again.
Bernani on the inside, nothing to lose now. Might as well be hung for a sheep as for a lamb. Got the inside line on Morbidelli, controlled it well. Gianni couldn't turn in, there was nowhere to go. That was a good pass.
Yeah, it was a nice pass.
Lopez, fastest race lap, 1:43.7. Loeb was half a second quicker. Morbidelli goes to the outside, gets the clean track.
That's Morbidelli using his brains, feels he's there, has to give him space.
Bernani sent it, Morbidelli let him race through. Bernani up to 7th. Engsner, Philippi and Di Sabatino still racing 9th, 10th and 11th for the TC2 trophy. And Chilton going to breeze by Monteiro into turn 4. No, Thiago just gets it stopped.
Wrong side, Tom.
Yep.
Tell me, has Hugo Vallant, he hasn't had a podium yet in WTC, has he?
Outright podium? No.
So this could be his first one, he's
Absolutely.
on for it, no pressure.
Raced in the Seat last year, so he hasn't had a front-running car. Now he definitely has, and boy, is he using it.
If Chilton can get past Monteiro, he could make a chase, but...
Yep. Well, he's going to have to do what Lopez did, which is come by between the back chicanes, and he's not done it there. But look, Balada, Kozlowski in 6th. Bernani is all over the back of him. Well, Lopez, 1.5 at the line, away from the restart, only 0.9 behind.
Chilton working hard through there.
And that was last lap. He's going to be more like 0.6 behind Sebastian Loeb. Loeb setting his personal best lap at the moment, but not fast enough. In the first sector, he lost.
I think it's status quo, but Bernani's past Kozlowski.
Yay. And Kozlowski shuts the door on Gianni Morbidelli. Fantastic racing going on here. Not many cars escape the carnage. Starting a championship with brand new cars on the street circuit might not have been everybody's favourite choice, but you've got to deal with what you're dealing with. And Loeb and Lopez, 2.2. What a lap from Sebastian Loeb. Really opened the gap. The radio has crackled into life, hasn't it?
No, it's Loeb's done a slow lap, and Lopez has done a woefully slow lap.
Yeah, so they've been told to hold station.
I think they've got the call.
Yep. That's it. Sebastian Loeb set a personal best lap as Jose Maria Lopez was told to slow down. Thiago Monteiro battling with Tom Chilton again. It's only a matter of time. Chilton's going to give the pace back as he jumps the chicane. And right up behind them now is coming Bernani. And Bernani now will be going, go on, go on, go on. Both of you go wide, and he'll go through and take both of them.
If Tom doesn't get his skates on, Bernani will start having a dig at the back of him.
Yep. Well, Bernani's going to want Chilton to have a real attack on Monteiro, and for both of them to skitter off so Bernani can just squeeze through. Chilton's not going to make it here. Bernani's going to be right involved in it. 1, 2, 3, close as you like.
Get on his tail, Tom, coming out.
4th, 5th and 6th. Well, Tom now's got to worry about the tail ender, the rear gunner, because Bernani is right there to make a move. If Tom is hung out by Monteiro, as he will be if he tries the outside, Monteiro hits it too hard. Really big impact on the Citroen, on the Honda. Remember that punching a strut out, that chicane on Gabrielli's Honda last year?
No, I think it was
Chilton.
It was Chilton who hit the tyres.
Was it Chilton? Oh, he's on the inside. Now, this is a drag race, three-way
There's
drag
something
race.
underneath Monteiro's car, though. Something's hanging down.
Maybe he did hit it with the splitter. Maybe the floor is chattering. On the Honda mat, the floor goes front to rear all in one piece.
It's a humongously long thing. It's 4-metre long component.
Yeah. And normally they're in segments to allow you to take a segment off for work or to replace a segment for damage. Morbidelli is not getting by Kozlowski. Nothing wrong with the Russian and his Lada, who's got a Grand Prix driver in a Chevy, and there are bits flying off somebody's car. Is it Chilton's? Yeah, look, his splitter's dropping, and bits of his car are being thrown up into the draft behind, and Banani is looking on the inside, and he's got Chilton, and Chilton is losing front end. That's the reaction in Mehdi Banani in the Pro Team garage. He's got by Chilton for 5th after a drive-through. And Tom's front end will be washing away everywhere.
Yeah, he's lost the braking capability of the car now. He's lost that front end.
Well, there's contrasting fortunes in the Roal team. Tom Chilton's mum and dad watching. And in the Pro Team, Banani's followers and friends and family. Banani now all over Montero, and of the two, I know who's got the quicker Honda at the moment, and his dander up. He's flashing the headlights. Come on, ex-Grand Prix driver, get out of my way. I'm a man on a mission. Losing track for a number of laps. This is lap 13 of 16, so 3 after this. That's enough for Banani, surely, but he's not going to catch Hugo Valence. They're 7 seconds behind the podium. Sebastian Loeb leads from Jose Maria Lopez. Citroen 1-2. Hugo Valence in 3rd, and the Citroens have backed off to a 1-minute 46.5 lap because Valence doing 146.9s, 147s. But the battle and all the interest from the crowd. Smoke from Montero's car.
Oh, is that a tyre gone?
Is that a brake has gone or a tyre has gone? Banani's up to 4th. Live commentary on somebody's phone. Or is it a wheel bearing? It's not a tyre. Something smoking heavily on the right front corner. Well, he's struggled under braking and Banani hasn't.
Something let go, didn't it?
Lots of smoke. Well, was that a bearing maybe? Jubilation in Pro Team. There's your 1, 2, 3. Sebastian Loeb, Jose Maria Lopez. And in 3rd place, Hugo Valence. Valence on target for his first ever outright World Touring Car Championship podium. Sebastian Loeb on target for a win. Montero. Oh, is it the rear?
Yeah.
Is it crabbing?
That thing's falling apart, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, maybe he did really clump the curb hard, and maybe it's broken a link somewhere in the suspension, front or rear. It probably doesn't make much difference. If the thing's crabbing at one end or the other, it'll be a nightmare to drive. They're getting ready for Thiago to come in. And they're doing that because there are only 8 TC1 cars still capable of moving. So if they fix the car and get him out, in fact, even if they don't, he'll still be classified as a finisher, I think, and gain points. Loeb and Lopez. This is now a team formation. There's no question that Lopez has been told not to push. Let Sebastian win this. You won the last one. And in the end, I guess Lopez will be relatively sanguine about that. Not too much skin off his nose.
Yeah,
because now the rule's been established, Matt. If you're in front, that's it. You're not going to be challenged.
Yeah, these two are cruising around 2 seconds off what they can do at the moment.
Yeah, no question.
You've seen that by Hugo Valence. You know, he's actually closing down the gap a bit, and they'll just manage the gap to the end, which is, yeah.
Now there's also a battle shaping up. I was just about to say here for 2nd in TC2. That is rookie John Philippi in his first race weekend, and Pasquale Di Sabatino in his first weekend back in the championship, his first in a BMW, and that is for 2nd in TC2. And they are catching the hobbled Thiago Montero, whose car will not go in a straight line. They get by safely.
Now, Montero needs to finish for manufacturer championship points, so
no point going into the garage, struggle round. There's not that many cars that you're going to be in the way of. There's Engsler, our TC2 leader, and is that Huff behind him? I think, yeah, Huff is out of the pit lane, so he's going round, because they've realised at Lada he'll get a point for 10th place, or he'll get something, because there are only
11.
In fact, he's still behind Dusan Borkovic, but if Borkovic isn't moving, then Huff will be classified in front of him. Yeah, there are 11 cars moving, but 3 of them are in TC2. So it's about class points. Huffy will score, Possibly, I don't
No,
know.
you've got to
I don't
compete
know
in
how
so
many-
much distance,
Yeah,
Martin,
yeah.
so he would still be classified as
I
a...
don't
But
think
in the
it'll be
manufacturers, maybe, because it is a
yeah,
finisher.
possibly. Yeah, but if it's not classified as a finisher, is it? I don't know. Anyway, all of that will come out in the wash. Far too much going on for me. What isn't going on, unfortunately, is a Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton battle for the lead. Maybe that will develop later in the season when Citroën are a little bit more comfortable about their performance and the margins of error they've got. However, at the moment, Sebastian Loeb leads from Jose Maria Lopez as Chilton battles with Bernani. He's gone by the Honda.
Oh, the Honda's coming back at him.
Yep, Bernani back down the inside. So a mistake by Bernani. Tom's going to have to give that back. Bernani was in front as they turned in. Tom's only got that place because he jumped the chicane. Maybe Bernani jumped the chicane. Well, no. Did Bernani jump the chicane? He was in front, and how did he get behind?
No, he got the inside line.
Yeah, and Bernani's going, come on, you can't do that. I know you can't do that. You know you can't do that. And is Chilton slowing to let him go by in a straight line? I think he is.
Well, he's got to be careful of
Well,
Kozlowski.
yeah, now that didn't help, did it? Because Kozlowski is closer. Well, Mehdi Bernani's not going to be on the podium. Hugo Valente is for the first time in his young touring car career. But Sebastian Loeb is going to win his first race as a World Touring Car Championship driver. The checkered flag awaits. It's going to be a double race winning weekend for Citroën. 1, 2, 3 in race one. Both their cars, first and second. After Ivan Muller caught too much accident damage in the first start incident to complete the race. So a win for Jose Maria Lopez, a win for Sebastian Loeb, and Bernani and Chilton a drag race to the line. Bernani's got his nose in front. The Chevy's not going to catch him, but not by much. Not much left of Tom Chilton's front end either, is there? Look at what, on the driver's right, look at what splitter isn't there any longer. He's had a real whack on a curb or a tyre stack somewhere. And here's our TC2 winner. Franz Hensler, double race winning weekend for him. That's the experience of the car and the man paying off. Well, as we sort of expected yesterday, Matt, behind the demonstration, there was a lot of good racing going on.
Well, Martin, I mean, what a weekend. I mean, I can't count. I've lost count of the amount of wrecked cars we've got this weekend. We were wrecking cars even before we got out of free practice. Never mind qualifying, races, and jeepers. There's going to be...
That was close. Let's see what the timing screen says. 26 thousandths. Tom Chilton in front of Mehdi Bernani.
Good boy.
Wow. And is that the length of the splitter, 100 mil in front of the bumper? It's 26 thousandths at that speed isn't much of a distance. Well, Sebastian Loeb, second in race one, wins race two. Jose Maria Lopez, first in race one, second in race two. Equal on race points.
Lopez will be leading.
Lopez is the championship leader by 1 because he got 5 for qualifying on pole. Loeb 4 for being second on the grid. Ivan Muller a 0 already in the books. He was in third place in race 1, 0 in race 2. He got 2 points for being fourth in qualifying. So he is a long way behind.
Yeah, it's not a fairy tale start for the champion.
Nope.
But
Wow.
it is for these two boys and Citroën.
Loeb and Lopez, 1-2 in the championship, a point apart.
The only chink in their armour for a display of show was the lack of racing, I have to say, which it would have been loved to see him scrap at the front.
Well, thankfully everybody else was still up for it because they were thoroughly disappointing in their refusal to let their drivers
The racing
race at
behind
any
certainly
stage.
made up for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm being taught Serbian on Twitter at the moment. Zdravo apparently is hello. Thank you very much for that. You may feel free to tweet me what the Serbian for thank you very much for that is. I may not be able to pronounce it. Sebastian Loeb, our race winner, is right where he wanted to be. A contender, a challenger, and in fact, a race winner. Jose Maria Lopez in second place, and Hugo Valente on the podium in third. But Sebastian Loeb wins in World Touring Cars. Well, congratulations to Sebastian Loeb. There was never any doubt that he was going to be capable of making this transfer. A rally driver often fares well in a racing car rather than the other way around. And we've seen from his racing exploits, especially in a Pescarolo prototype at Le Mans, how quick he can be in a pucker race car on a pucker track. And he has converted his rallying expertise superbly. There's a bit of a cluster there of good-looking women from to talk to. Alex is there in the background, and French TV have got a former Miss France in their pit lane. You can see they're waiting to have a chat with Sebastian Loeb. So we'll hear from our winner, and no surprise, he wants to take on Fluid's Matt Neal as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it's going to be incredibly hot out there. Some of the drivers will have a camelback situated on the back of the seat, but depends with the saving weight. A lot of others hydrate beforehand and then come out, because it is a sprint race really. So it's not. Oh, we've got a fire under.
Yeah, we have got a fire underneath, and they don't know there's a fire underneath. Somebody needs to tell Hugo Vallant very quickly that the car is ablaze. That could be a very major drama in just a moment.
They're all standing around.
Yeah.
Someone get underneath with a fire extinguisher.
They're seeing smoke. Nobody's looking underneath, which is what you normally want to do. Meanwhile, let's hear from our race winner. Alex is with Sebastian Loeb.
Well, using his spider powers, as always, getting past the drama at the very, very start. Sebastian Loeb, race 2 winner. Congratulations, just what you wanted.
More than I expected, especially to win the race 2, starting 9 on the grid. I didn't expect that, but it was a massive crash on the first start, and we tried to avoid. We were a bit lucky to pass through it, so we were third on the grid in the second start, and so it was okay, good start, and I pushed hard to try to overtake, and it was okay. So a first victory in the first race is incredible.
9 times World Rally Champion. You come to World Touring Car Championship and you win the second race. How does it actually feel?
It's great, for sure. I didn't expect so much. For sure, we have a very good car, and I have to congratulate all the team, because the car is incredible. It's very well balanced. Everything is very good on the car, so I feel well in the car, and for sure it's an amazing moment.
1, 2, 3 for Citroën, then 1, 2. It's a good position to be for the team as well.
I think you couldn't have better, no? So we didn't expect so much. So I'm really happy for them, because I know they made a great job. They worked very hard in the night in the last week. So very happy for the team.
And you took the cars home safely, which is good, puts you in good stead for next weekend at Paul Ricard. You're looking forward to being on home ground?
Yeah, sure. I was looking forward to be here before, but now to go in France will be an important moment for me. Paul Ricard is a track that I like. I was performant here in the town circuit. Maybe it's a bit closer from Morales. I hope I will be also fast in Paul Ricard.
I have no doubt. Well done, Sebastian.
Thank you.
Well, being as humble as we come to expect him in victory, he said, I didn't expect to be in a position to win a race in the first race weekend. Well, certainly Citroën have done their homework well, and they race strongly as well. Sebastian Loeb controlling the speed of his car to get past Mehdi Benani in the restarted race, and able to control the pace of the race. Jose Maria Lopez, clearly, both of them were told to slow down a little and to preserve the machinery. That's a very valid point that Alex brought up. 2 of their 3 cars in pristine condition before we go to Magny-Cours to Paul Ricard, so they can concentrate on what looked like fairly significant damage to Ivan Muller's car to get it fixed. And I wouldn't be at all surprised to find that there might be a spare shell already somewhere at Citroën's base just outside Paris. So Matt Neal, they have got perhaps a little less to worry about than some of the other teams.
Yeah, I think Muller's is probably more of a flesh wound, but you know, something terminal enough to put him out the race. So they'll just take the front end off, bolt a new one on. But Citroën are the only team in the pit lane who hasn't got major damage this weekend. You know, there's some of the teams and the cars that are wrecked. You know, you've got the Castrol Hondas, the Rao Chevys. You know, with major issue now to try and get cars turned around for the next one.
So look at the championship. Loeb and Lopez just a point apart. Tom Chilton third, Hugo Vallant fourth, Ivan Muller fifth, 30 points back. Mehdi Benani sixth, Dusan Borkovic, the rookie, 7th place in the championship. What a lineup of drivers we've got. What a bizarre championship points table that we have. Franz Hensler, 11th overall and leading the TC2 category. But with a point between our front runners in the championship and Ivan Muller, the experienced World Touring Car driver, the 4-time champion, 31 points back. Muller is now going to have to spend the remaining 11 race weekends beating his teammates every single time they're on track. That is a massive margin to make up in 3 cars that are likely to be able to finish 1, 2, 3 in every race. Well, Citroën may not have provided much of the drama of this weekend, but boy, there was plenty of it. And there was lots of racing as well. Maybe not at the front, but that didn't exclude everybody else from having a very good set too. And congratulations to Hugo Vallant, who gets himself on the podium for the first time in his touring car career. Fantastic job by the Citroën team. They provided very quick cars and very quick drivers. Now, if they can relax into the championship a little, we'll be very, very pleased indeed. So, dark clouds behind us again, but it's been a bright and sunny afternoon, and hopefully it'll turn into a pleasant evening here in Marrakech. 3rd place, first time on the World Touring Car podium for Hugo Vallant. Our race 1 winner, Jose Maria Lopez, takes 2nd place in race 2. And trading step 2 for step 1 in race 2, our race winner, Sébastien Loeb. Well, it was Frédéric Bonzet, the managing director of Citroën, who was on the podium with them in race 1. So this is a very, very important change of discipline for Citroën. They are taking this ultra seriously, as you have seen, and they have produced the results here in Marrakech. Well, our Yokohama Trophy winner is Franz Hensler. We will have our winning drivers anthem. Carry on singing, lads, because it is the same anthem for our winning constructor, Citroën.
Mesdames, Messieurs,
so our race winner, our podium finishers, enjoying the late afternoon sunshine here. Where was Jose Maria Lopez in the first race in Argentina last year? Can't remember. 6th or 7th or something. Cool. Anyway, 2 race wins from 4 race starts in his World Touring Car career. Can't argue with that. And the 2nd place, only once in his life off the podium. Hugo Vallant, first World Championship podium for him. Huge congratulations to him and to the Campos Racing team. Maybe it was the luck of the draw that none of the afflictions of anybody else's car, of the Chevys, afflicted him, but he kept his nose clean and raced very hard. He qualified very strongly. Pechito, our championship leader, Jose Maria Lopez, in 2nd place. Kisses the trophy. Got a lot of hand baggage, but he won't be going home to Argentina anytime yet. Never know, maybe his girlfriend will be allowed in the garage next week. And the massive winner's trophy will go to Sébastien Loeb. All sorts of Citroën and Sebastian Loeb racing team members down in the admiring crowd. And he's not going to make the mistake of trying to pick that up either, is he?
I hope they got some pretty big shelves at Citroën ready for all this lot.
You know what? I don't suppose they'll have overlooked the possibility that they might win a trophy or two, do you? They haven't overlooked anything else. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they've looked through all last year's podium ceremonies trying to work out which was the tallest, and by judging the height of the driver, how high the tallest was, to space the shelves evenly.
It's the level of detail I've gone to. I was out the back of their garages and looking in the back of the truck, and it's like their trucks have been tailor designed for World Touring Car racing now. Every splitter has its own select hole. Every car component, select hole, all painted, all perfect, everything. You walk in there, it's absolutely...
It's the way
very
Audi came sports car racing to Le Mans, the way they upped their game, the way that Porsche had done in the 80s, the way that then Peugeot did. But it's that no detail left uninvestigated approach that Audi have really almost copyrighted, that Citroën have brought to this program. Not to say that anybody else leaves stones unturned, but they just have spent more money on it and have looked for an even greater standard of excellence. And for a new team, they have really pulled out all the stops and really produced the goods. And it's only accident damage that if Armada could do nothing about that has prevented 2 1-2-3 finishes here. Well, that is it then from the streets of Marrakech. Join us a week from now from the Circuit Paul Ricard in Le Castellet for races 3 and 4.